Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. Okay, so there's been a rumor being around that the Browns are interested in trading up for Cam Ward. So what I want to do is a fun exercise when it comes to mock drafts, because remember, I'm not trying to predict anything with these mock drafts, just trying to work through potential scenarios to see what could be available and, why a team might make the decision that they choose to make. So let's say ownership comes down, they say make the trade, we want to get Cam Ward, we're all aboard the Cam Ward train. What then happens after that? Well, that's what this video is trying to talk about at the very least. So let's work through free agency first, because if you do trade for the number 1 overall pick, you would likely do it before the start of free agency. So you can use free agency to build around whatever it is that you're going to draft at the number 1 overall position. Now, how would having the number 1 overall pick and knowing you're going to use it to take Cam Ward change free agency? This is how. All right, so I would go after a veteran tackle for just 1 year. I would sign Tyron Smith, knowing it's a short-term thing. The reason and thinking behind this is, hey, I'm going to draft the quarterback. I want to make sure that I'm not guessing at left tackle. I'm not hoping that somebody falls to 33 that makes sense to start at tackle. I draft Tyron Smith. I have a starter at left tackle for 1 year. I don't want to put my young quarterback in a situation where they're not going to have a chance to succeed because the offensive line is poor. The same thought process goes with Drew Dalman. Up the middle pressure is a killer for a lot of young quarterbacks, so let's try to avoid that. Sign a 26-year-old center to a 4-year, $14 million per year deal. Next thing I would address is wide receiver. So you bring back Elijah Moore on a 1-year, $3 million deal and Brandon Cooks on a 1-year, $3 million deal. This does not make your wide receiver room overwhelming. I am aware of that. But what it does is add a veteran presence to a wide receiver room for a young quarterback so that that young quarterback can lean on the wide receivers more than they could if it's just Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman. So you have some extra pieces in there. And to be the backup / potentially the day 1 starter until we feel like our quarterback is ready, we're going to bring in good old reliable, second to only Tyrod Taylor of quarterbacks that you bring in specifically because you plan to bench them for somebody else later on, Jacoby Brissett. Right. That's the guy I'm going to go after because Tyrod's under contract somewhere. So Jacoby Brissett, he's going to be the guy who holds it back. Maybe you could throw Kyle Trask in there as another backup option behind Jacoby Brissett to replace DTR. And there it is, right? That's free agency in this scenario. Not a crazy free agency, a modest free agency because the Browns aren't going to have money no matter what they do with the whatever pick that they have to go buck wild in free agency. But that's a move they could do. Come draft day, you make a modest trade, right, for the number 1, because at the end of the day, you're only asking somebody to move up 1 spot. So for their troubles, Tennessee, they move back, they take number 2, they get a 4th round next year, 103, 165. I think this is more than fair compensation. Now, if the market gets crazy, then all of a sudden the math on this changes, and you have to really determine how much you love Cam Ward to be able to be willing to do this. But if the Tennessee Titans don't have a strong market, you might be able to get something even more modest through and to get the number 1 overall pick. So Browns have the number 1 overall pick. It's no mystery who we're taking in this scenario. Ownership wants a quarterback and ownership loves Cam Ward. So we're going to do Cam Ward here. So we're going to take Cam Ward, number 1 overall, and we're going to move to pick 33. Now, if we could bring up something real quick. All right, so we're going to look at some of the pre-draft alignments of what we have. On the defensive side, we're pretty solid, right? We got Mike Hall, Shelby Harris, Dalvin Thomas, and Alex Wright in our interior defensive line rotation. We have Myles Garrett, Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright, and Nova Okoronkwo in our edge rotation. Our linebackers are JOK, Ben Hicks, and Mahmoud Diabite. We got Denzel Ward, we got Martin Emerson, Greg Newsome, Cam Mitchell, Grant Delpit, Ronnie Hickman, DeAnthony Bell. Not the most amazing defense in the world, but if I had to go into a game and play these guys, I wouldn't feel too crazy about it. All right. Our pre-draft offense does need some work here right now. I believe we have thoroughly addressed the offensive line. Got Tyron Smith, Joe Bitonio, Drew Dowman, Wyatt Teller, Jack Conklin, DeJuan Jones could be the right tackle. He could be the left tackle by the end of the year. You could draft somebody to be the left tackle. You got a lot of different options there with the offensive line. The more the better when you're going to draft the quarterback. Everywhere else is where you start to see the thinness, right? You're not bringing back Nick Chubb, so you got to draft 2 running backs. Tight end, you're probably going to have to draft another tight end there. Wide receiver, you can be fine without drafting a wide receiver, and obviously quarterback will be fulfilled by the draft pick that you're about to take. So that's what the offense looks like. That's my framework for this mock draft. We just took Cam Ward, number 1 overall. Now, how would we work around that, right? Now, my first pick usually would be, hey, Josh Connerly's there. Let's take Josh Connerly. Now, having somebody, an older veteran, hold it down at left tackle for a year does give you some flexibility on seeing it out with DeJuan Jones. You also might want to consider running back here if you feel really strongly about a running back at this position. Right now, if I know I'm drafting a quarterback, I'm going to plan for the future, right? You could get Nick Scourton, good edge rusher out of Texas A&M. His win rate is 17.1%. Run defense, pass rush grade here. So Nick Scourton is definitely an option here. And Josh Connerly, you could want to pair up your quarterback with a wide receiver like an Elick Ayamaner, who I like a lot. 6'2", big size, ran a 4.40, dealt with a ton of bad quarterback play at Stanford. So, he can adjust to the football. So those are my 3 options there, 33. And I do got a good amount of options here. I did give up some picks earlier, so I am willing to move back if the offer's right. Now, somebody wants to move back from 33, will move up to 33 from 36. I'm willing to entertain that offer because I do have multiple people that I'm okay with taking. Usually, I would just take Josh Connerly here, but because I added an extra tackle in free agency, that lessens the urgency to draft the tackle for me because I've extended the time that I can look at that and evaluate somebody like DeJuan Jones as a future option. Now, if this offer is not good enough, I am just going to take Josh Connerly Jr. and call it a day at 33, but we'll see what Jacksonville is willing to offer. 88. We're probably going to get creative here, add a swap here. So what, they're willing to give me 106 for this? Yeah, is it worth it? Because I am going to have a huge gap here, right? I gave up 2 picks to move up. So if I can get 125 and 106 and keep 180, I have to probably give up 180. And I'll give up 217 if you give me 283. So I pick up the couple picks I missed. This probably means I miss out on Connerly. But I go from having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 picks to 11. And I have more picks in the top 150. Right now I only have 4 picks in the top 150. I'll have 6 picks in the top 150. Yeah, this makes sense. If I trade with them, I get one. It's risky. I'll do it. Let's do it. All right. Oh, they took Connerly right ahead of me. All right. I think I'm going to go Scourton here, or do I want to go Ayamaner? Let me see if I can recoup more picks here because, 46 is the next available team that's willing to trade with me. I'm not willing to move back that far. All right. So Scourton, my bad, from Texas A&M. Had a pretty good weight at the combine. That was a big concern with him. I think he came in at like 260 something. The tape is pretty good on him. He's a really good edge defender. You get to add him with Myles Garrett, supercharger pass rush. I always say the best help for a young quarterback is a great defense. So I'm going to stick to that philosophy and take Scorton over here over A. Manor, who I also do like at wide receiver. Another factor into this is that edge gets pretty thin if I don't take one here, right? Because what Sawyer's not going to be there at 67. Stewart's too small. Yeah, so we're probably going to have to move off of that. But if I did go wide receiver, you got guys like Noel, Isaiah Bond back there that you can live with. So yeah, let's go ahead and make sure that defense is okay. Let's get an edge. All right, let's move through the draft here. Let's speed it up a little bit and get to 68, 67. All right, now I do have to get some starters at running back. Cam Scadaboo's here at 67. I think this is a pretty obvious choice for me. I'm going to go Scadaboo here unless there's another running back, unless like Caleb Johnson is available, which I do not think is happening. So Caleb Johnson not available. I'm going to go Cam Scadaboo. Think he makes more sense if he can be your every down guy. I'm going to keep an eye out to see if Giddens falls, but my number 2 guy I'm looking for is Trevor Etienne late in this draft. So Cam Scadaboo, let's go get him, and that solves one of the running back positions. All right, now we're going to move to pick 94. So if we look at our pick selections right now, got a running back, got a quarterback, got an edge rusher. Still need a tight end, right? So we're going to want to look at where the tight ends are here. We got Harold Fanon, got Gunnar Helm. For the Browns' purposes, I find Gunnar Helm to be a better fit. I like Harold. I think Harold Fanon is more fun to watch on tape. But Gunnar Helm makes more sense here in this spot for Cleveland, especially with the young quarterback. You want reliable big targets. Gunnar Helm is a reliable big target here, 6'5". So let's go ahead and get him. Take him at 94. All right. So now we're looking here. We have a tight end. We have a halfback. We have a edge rusher and a quarterback here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more selections to go through. Somebody wants to trade for 109. I think I'd be willing to swing it. Let me see what players are available. Because again, I'm willing to recoup the value here that I've lost from trading. Torrey Horton, Kobe Hudson, Kyle Williams. Nothing really blowing my mind at wide receiver, but I prepared for that in the offseason. Running back wise, Jadon Blue is there, who probably would be the pick. Offensive tackle, I'm not drafting Jalen Rivers this high. Emory Jones. Interior guys, nope. Right. So yeah, I think I'm willing to move back. Well, hold on, wait, safety. Ooh, Makuba's here. Makuba's here at 107. They want me to move back to 109. Yeah, I'm just not going to take that chance. It's the last guy I think could be a starting free safety here. Let's go take Makuba. Go Texas back to back. All right, so now we're sitting here. We have safety handled, tight end handled, running back handled, edge, and then quarterback handled. Now we're sitting at pick 125. We have 6 more selections to go. We can start having a little bit more fun here. So we're not going to take a quarterback. JJ Pegasus, Jadon Blue is here. So right now, Blue's the pick. Great athlete, third down running back. He fumbled a lot, but you feel like you can coach that out of him. But you can't coach elusiveness into somebody. Super young guy, fits the profile of what Andrew Berry likes. So yeah, it's probably going to be who I turn the card in for. Unless Yeah, that's gonna be who I turned the card. Well, hold on. Defensive interior. Gotta look at defensive interior. Tim Smith is there. Zeke. All right, yeah, I'm gonna swing on them a little bit later. All right, yeah, let's turn the card in for Jaden Blue. All right, so we're moving through the draft now. Moving through. Denzel Burke just went. Kobe King just went. Danny Stutzman just went. Okay, so again, recap on where we are in the draft. Cam Ward, Nick Scourton, Cam Scattaboo, Gunnar Helm, Andrew Makuba, Jadon Blue. All right, so let's look at the board here. We're going to go position by position. Linebacker, not really interested. I don't think I'm going to find anything at edge I like. Yeah, we're good on edge. Interior guys. There's Tim Smith. There's Zeke Biggers. I think the conversation at interior gets a little bit more, well, it gets interesting right here. So Tim Smith, Zeke Biggers. What's do we have Tim Smith's pass rush win rate available? 8.3. I know Biggers wasn't that productive in college, so yeah, he's a 2.8. So, I think I see Biggers developing into more of a run defense guy. He's more of a project. Tim Smith, I think, can be, a pass rush guy pretty much immediately. Well, not immediately. Nobody's that immediately, but sooner than later. Safety, we're good here. It's like Kobe Bryant on the board. No Kobe. Okay, and then let's look at the O-line prospects. If we don't see anything here, then we're probably going to go D-line here. Yeah, let's go D-line. All right, so we got Cam Scattaboo earlier. Let's get a power guy. We can get a power guy here, 193 with Ollie Gordon. Not a lot of top end speed there, but I think he's pretty good. All right. And then, no Tyler. We go Ricky White. Ricky White makes a ton of sense at 201. And so does Lachey. Lachey makes a lot of sense here, but I think Lachey's gone. Did Lachey go? No, Zeke went. Lachey's still here. Yeah, Lachey's still here. I might be able to get him at 216. I know I'm not going to get Ricky White there. All right, so if Lachey's there, then I'm happy. Yeah, let's get Lachey here. I mean, not Lachey, Ricky White. Let's go Ricky White here. I don't think he's here. Oh, no, he's here. Let's take him. Cool. We got Lachey. And now we're going to look at who's going to be available for UDFA. But before we do that, before we take somebody to be Mr. Irrelevant, let's look through the draft that we just created here. So Cam Ward, number 1 overall. We got a edge defender, Nick Scourton, from Texas A&M. Cam Scattaboo, a full-time running back here. Gunnar Helm, Andrew Makuba, Jaden Blue, Tim Smith, Ollie Gordon, Ricky White, and Luke Lachey here. And then whoever we take here is who we take. Now, what I want to do real quick before I end this draft is look at how this draft would impact the depth chart here. So if you could indulge me for a second, I'm going to. All right, so post-draft defense. Right now, we have to add in some of the names that we took here, right? So if we go back to the draft. All right, so Nick Scourton. So we're gonna get rid of Obo Okoronkwo in this rotation. Keep Isaiah McGuire and Alex Wright and add Nick Scourton in here. Scourton, my bad. Okay. Linebacker, everything stays pretty much the same. Andrew Makuba slides in here. And then you have Ronnie Hickman. You could bring back the Anthony Bell on a tender. Um, and then Tim Smith slides into the defensive line rotation, probably behind Alex Wright. So Tim Smith. That is how the defense would be changed. Let's look at how the offense would be changed by what we have done here. So, quarterback room, you bring in Cam Ward, that's your starter. Um, Wide receiver wise, I think the rotation does not change because Ricky White's probably not going to be in that rotation year one. Running back, you have Cam Scattaboo. All right, so you would cut Pierre Strong, bring in Jaden Blue, Ollie Gordon. Gunnar Helm would be the other tight end. Don't think you would throw Ricky White again into that rotation this early. Luke Lachey would be a blocking tight end early. Sorry, no, not Vroom Luke, just regular Luke. Okay. And then is that it? I believe that is it. That's all the picks accounted for. We accounted for him. Yep. Makuba, Tim Smith, Ollie Gordon, Ricky White, Lachey. So we can add Ricky White behind here if you would like, just for clarity. So Ricky White. There's no E, just regular Ricky White. And then Jamari Thrash. Thrash are developmental guys. So if the Browns do make that decision, this is based on how the board would line up, how I think things could go. Not should go or would go, but could go. It is possible that the Browns prioritize more than edge rusher getting younger at tackle, because you look at this situation at tackle here. And yes, for a year, this will be fine. But Tyron Smith, let me make his name blue. Joe Batonio, another name I'm going to make blue here. And Jack Conklin. Right. And this is why I think you should prioritize some youth here on the offensive line. He just had to tell us he wasn't retiring. Tyron Smith is very close to retiring. And Jack Conklin is not to be trusted physically and could retire at any time. So right now, the future of your offensive line is DeJuan Jones, Wyatt Teller, Drew Dowman. You know, if you want to get the edge rusher, which I did pick at 35 or 37, over the tackle, because you want the extra picks, right? Because that was also another factor. I went edge rusher because that's who was available, and I got the extra picks. Well, if I want to get the extra picks, I did sacrifice getting another offensive lineman, which means this problem right here I'm going to have to deal with next year, because I wanted to solve the problem at tight end, and I want to solve the problem at running back, and I want to solve the problem on the defensive side of the ball. And all of those other problems, I sacrifice a long-term solution to this, because you would feel much better if you had DeJuan Jones, and behind DeJuan Jones, you had a Josh Connerly, something like that, right? Like this would feel a lot better. Then all of a sudden the future for the Browns offensive line feels a lot more clear, right? Josh Connerly Jr. takes over next year for Tyron Smith when he leaves, so JCJ, boom. Joe Batonio retires, you plug in Zach Zinter. And then if you don't want to worry about the future here with Jack Conklin, then DeJuan Jones becomes a starter. And then boom, you're set. Your future is stabilized, which I think is why drafting a tackle, even if it means risking not getting the picks, is very attractive. Ultimately, I decided that having a question mark here in the future at left tackle or right tackle for the time being, was more of a livable situation given the choice that I had. Now, you can disagree with that and you can agree with that. Fun thing is, it's a mock draft, so it's not that serious. All right, so we're looking through this board. Let's go through position by position to see who we're going to invite to camp. I think Seth Hannigan probably gets a camp invite to rookie camp, but not a UDFA contract. Zachary Franklin and Rock Taylor do get UDFA contracts. Let's go tight end here. Nobody. Running back, I give Raheem Sanders a UDFA contract. I'm going to take Carson Vincent here. That's going to be the pick at 257. Cornerback wise, no, we're good there. Safety, no, we're good here. Defensive interior, Howard Cross definitely gets a UDFA offer. He's going to be tough to bring in, though. And that's it for the UDFA offers. Let me go ahead and draft Carson Vincent and call her today. But yeah, that is me working through a scenario in a mock draft where the Browns do trade to get Cam Ward. I just wanted to change it up, right? Because you know me, I like Abdul Carter at 2, the ideal of Abdul Carter at 2. But we got to look at other options just in case they do happen and how you would build around a young quarterback if you were to draft one, and give that quarterback the best chance possible to be successful early on, whether you agree with taking the quarterback there or not. But that's my thought. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.